This is exactly how I increased my testosterone from 545 all the way to 871 nanograms per deciliter. I have put together an entire course going through absolutely every single step that I applied to my life, and I'm here to share it all with you. So without further ado, let's get started. Firstly, who even cares about testosterone? Why is testosterone important? Testosterone is more than just a sex hormone. It is the biochemical backbone of male success. It governs how a man looks, feels, thinks, and performs. High testosterone men move through the world differently with power, confidence, and drive. Testosterone enhances muscle protein synthesis. It makes it considerably easier for you to build muscle and lose body fat at the same time. Optimal testosterone sharpens focus, competitiveness, and makes you perform better under pressure. When you're starting a business, having high testosterone is super important. And lastly, having high testosterone also makes you more confident talking to girls. You know, they respect that confidence, they can see it, they can sense it, and it makes you much more attractive. Over the last 100 years, men's testosterone hasn't really been a problem. It's only recently, over the last 30, 40, 50 years, that every single man's testosterone has been declining rapidly. The average 22-year-old has the same testosterone as a 67-year-old male did in the year 2000. In the 1960s, men's average testosterone was 650, whereas now it's just 425. Furthermore, men's sperm counts have dropped by 52.9% between the years 1973 and 2018. And if men's sperm counts keep dropping by the same amount, it's expected to reach 0 by 2045, meaning that in just a few years, you're not going to be able to have kids. Before we get started on exactly how to increase your testosterone, let's first of all discuss what optimal testosterone means. If you've been to the doctors before to get your testosterone measured, you might have noticed that they use a super wide range. And what's considered normal these days is anywhere from 250 all the way up to about 900 nanograms per deciliter. However, what's considered optimal is between 700 and 900. So if you go to the doctor and you get your bloods looked at and they see your testosterone's at 300, that's considered normal, healthy, and within the normal range. And so they don't do anything about that. But a man with a 300 testosterone level compared to a man with a 900 testosterone level, those differences are huge. And it can contribute to so many problems in life right now and also into the future. So just to reiterate, 700 to 900 nanograms per deciliter is what we want to be aiming to get our testosterone at to be optimal and functioning at peak male health. This diagram on screen shows the total pathway testosterone takes from the hypothalamus all the way down to it exerting its androgenic effects on our body. It starts in the hypothalamus and a neural peptide called GnRH is released, which stimulates the pituitary gland to produce luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. FSH is used to produce sperm, and luteinizing hormone, LH, is primarily used to make testosterone in the Leydig cells in the testicles. About 5% of testosterone is made from DHE in the adrenal glands, which is above the kidneys, and luteinizing hormone plus cholesterol and a bunch of other vitamins, minerals, and cofactors are used to make testosterone. From here, testosterone then enters the bloodstream and it is bound to SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin, and another carrier called albumin. And this basically locks up about 98% of free testosterone. This means that you have all of this testosterone in your body, but it's bound to SHBG, so it's not actually doing anything. It's just circulating around your body. And when you need more testosterone, some testosterone breaks away from SHBG, and this is called free testosterone. And it's about 2% of total testosterone. And this is what is then uptaken by your cells to exert an androgenic effect on your body, whether that's growing facial hair, deepening your voice, or building muscle. Testosterone, and in particular free testosterone, is what does that. So it's not only important to have high total testosterone, it's also important to have high free testosterone, lower SHBG, and then testosterone can either be used as testosterone in the body, or it gets converted into estrogen via the aromatase enzyme. We want that to be relatively low. And it can also get converted into DHT, which is a much more potent form of testosterone. And it can lead to even stronger testosterone boosting effects, such as facial hair, muscles, Like if your DHT is super high, it has a really, really strong effect on your body. And you need an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase to convert testosterone into DHT. So we want that to also be relatively high. So now that you understand what optimal testosterone looks like and also how testosterone is made in the body, let's go through some of the key ingredients you actually need to produce testosterone. Firstly, the body needs to be in a calorie surplus to actually produce testosterone. Think anabolic. If you want to build muscle in the gym, you have to be eating in a calorie surplus. And same with testosterone. If your energy intake is far too low, then your body doesn't actually prioritize energy to making testosterone. It has to prioritize that energy to keeping you alive, running your organs and your basic daily movement and your brain. So firstly, you need to be eating in a calorie surplus to make optimal testosterone. Next, cholesterol. This is vital for producing testosterone, as you can see on the diagram on screen. Cholesterol can be made from saturated fats, or you can just get it from eating certain foods such as liver, steak, eggs. We're going to get into all of that very soon. And lastly, a number of vitamins and minerals are necessary as cofactors to help facilitate the testosterone production process. This includes zinc, vitamin D3, magnesium, selenium, vitamin B6, 9, 12, and probably a few others that I can't remember off the top of my head. Testosterone is primarily produced in the body during deep SWS sleep, slow wave sleep. I think that's what it's called. So you need to be making sure that you're sleeping for 8 hours a night, but also in those 8 hours, you're getting a high quality sleep and you're reaching the deep sleep stage, because that's primarily when your body produces most of its testosterone. And where is 95% of our testosterone made? Well, in our testicles. So it's important to make sure that we're keeping them nice and healthy. This means wearing cotton, organic underpants so that your balls aren't sweating and overheating. You need to also make sure that you're avoiding microplastics and excessive radiation. If you have your phone in your pocket all the time, then this is going to do all sorts of damage to your testosterone and your ability to have kids in the future. So with that out of the way, I'm now going to be going over 4 or 5 databases on how to optimize your diet for testosterone, the supplements to take to boost your testosterone, how to get optimal sleep for optimal testosterone, how to cut out endocrine disrupting chemicals, which are messing with your hormones and decreasing your testosterone. And lastly, number 5, how to live a high testosterone lifestyle. Just a few simple changes you can make to your lifestyle, the way you think, feel, to boost your testosterone. So the first change you need to make to boost your testosterone is your diet. You need to be picking foods that are micronutrient dense, calorie dense, and for the most part, unprocessed. On screen, I have 57 different foods that you can consume to boost your testosterone. And if you look at each of these foods, they have a full micronutrient database, as well as reasons as to why they boost your testosterone, calorie intakes, and at the very bottom, you can also see the top 8 foods you should be avoiding to boost your testosterone, because for one reason or another, these foods interfere with testosterone production. So let's go through it briefly. So starting with protein, as you can see, all of the protein sources here are from animals, and eggs in particular, as well as steak, is relatively high in cholesterol. So you should be trying to consume about 400 to 600 milligrams of cholesterol every single day, whether that be from eggs or steak or a combination of them. You can also increase your saturated fat intake. And I know there's a lot of evidence to suggest that saturated fats are terrible for your cholesterol. Well, I eat, 100, maybe 80 grams of saturated fats a day. And this is my most recent cholesterol score. Pretty much perfect. So as far as I'm concerned, eating high saturated fat diets does not directly raise your cholesterol if your body's metabolism is working properly. If you have other metabolism problems, then yeah, perhaps eating too much saturated fats is going to cause problems. But if you're a young, healthy male, like I'm sure you are, eating saturated fats is not going to kill you. Don't worry. Pasture-raised eggs, organic grass-fed beef, wild sardines, tuna, organic chicken, oysters, which are super high in zinc. They're actually known as a aphrodisiac. So some people used to take that before having sex because it would help with their erections. You can have animal livers, which are super micronutrient dense, bone broth, bacon, salmon, lamb, small fish. I would avoid big fish because they're high in a lot of heavy metals such as mercury and other toxins. And we don't want that because mercury actually decreases testosterone in men. It's important to make sure that whatever protein source you're eating, like you can pick and choose from here. It doesn't have to be one or the other. You can have fish, you can have beef, you can have lamb, chicken, but it's super important to make sure that whatever protein source you're picking is organic, because conventionally farmed beef, for example, they are fed a combination of corn, soy, and some cows are even fed like ground up parts of other animals. And so that's how mad cow disease started. Not to mention the fact that cow stomachs are specifically designed for actually digesting and breaking down grass. So if you feed cows something that isn't grass, then they're not going to get the nutrients out of the grass. They're going to be much less micronutrient dense. And the quality of the meat, the color of the fat is going to be different. Regularly farmed cows as well, they also are pumped full of hormones. They're pumped full of antibiotics. And all of these hormones and antibiotics are stored in the animal's fat. So if you bought, regular conventional beef from the shops and you cooked that up and you ate that and you rendered the fat and made it look delicious and tasty, you would be getting all of those excess hormones and antibiotics in the fat. So if obviously it's very expensive to buy organic, I understand that. But if there's one thing I want you to take away from this whole section on your diet, it's prioritize organic meat. You can get away with conventionally farmed fruits and vegetables and oils, but please buy organic meat. Next, moving on to carbohydrate sources. Again, you can probably see that pretty much everything here is a whole food. You've got potatoes, sweet potatoes, jasmine rice, quinoa, sourdough bread, which has to be fermented for at least 24 hours and contain relatively unground, unprocessed wheat germ. That's okay to eat as well. I wouldn't have heaps of it, but that white bread you buy from the shops that's full of all sorts of additives and preservatives, I would stay the fuck away from them. You've got bananas, which are a great carbohydrate source, coconut water, honey, vegetable dates, watermelon, and raisins. And again, these are all included in here because they're a carbohydrate source, but also because they have certain nutrients in them that boost your testosterone. So honey, for example, contains boron, which has been shown to boost testosterone. And same with raisins as well. It has a lot of boron in it if you eat quite a lot. And this has been shown to boost free testosterone, which we'll get into shortly. Next, we have fats: avocado, avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil, beef tallow, coconut oil, cod liver oil, butter, yogurt, cheese, hemp seeds, chia seeds, macadamia nuts, Brazil nuts, walnuts, pistachios. I'm just giving you the list of all of these nutrients. And from this, you should be able to figure out, okay, I want to eat 3 meals a day. Let's pick a protein source, a carbohydrate source, and a couple fat sources. And you can add other whole foods in here. I don't think they'll have spinach included, but if you want to have spinach, go for it. If you want to have something else that's a whole food, go for it. These have just all been included because they have certain nutrients, vitamins, minerals that have been shown to boost testosterone. And lastly, I've just got a number of fruits, vegetables, herbs, and spices here that also have testosterone boosting properties. So we've got onions, garlic, ginger, turmeric, parsley, asparagus, mushrooms, beetroots, carrots, blueberries, pomegranates, pineapples, black seed oil, raw cacao, seaweed, cinnamon, fenugreek, and Celtic sea salts. And again, if you click on each of these, you can see what nutrients there are in there, a little bit of information about the food and why it boosts testosterone. So pomegranates, for example, you can see on screen have these properties about them. I'm not going to read them off, but take my word for it. And you can also see what sort of micronutrients are present in all of these foods as well. So that's the testosterone optimization diet. If you scroll further down, you've also got a bit of information about all the essential vitamins and minerals your body needs to be healthy. And in each of these sections, if you click on, let's just say magnesium, for example, you can see why magnesium is important for boosting testosterone and all of the relevant processes it actually follows in our body, all of the things it does to keep you healthy. You can also see what happens if you don't get enough magnesium in your diet, and you can see what sort of foods are high in magnesium. In an ideal world, we would be eating a whole food organic diet that was high in protein, carbs, fats, and micronutrient dense. and we wouldn't need to take any supplements because our diet would be perfect and full of nutrients. Unfortunately, it's the 21st century. We live in a Western society, and so 85, 90% of what we buy at the supermarkets are ultra processed. High in calories, low in nutrients, low in fiber, terrible for our health. So let's just say you were to get your diet analyzed by someone and they told you had low calcium. Well, you can look through here and see what foods you should be eating to boost your calcium up, and that also are testosterone booster friendly. So you've got Parmigiano Reggiano, sardines, Greek yogurt. All of these boost your testosterone and are high in calcium and will help you fix any micronutrient deficiencies that you're discovering. And then lastly, I've just got 8 foods or types of foods that you should be trying to avoid. This includes flax seeds, licorice, vegetable oils or seed oils. If I see anyone cooking with vegetable oil or grapeseed oil or sunflower seed oil, I literally picked up that bottle before and just thrown it in the bin because that stuff is fucking poisoning you. It's engine lubricant and you're cooking your food with it. Fuck that. Stay away from that. Mint, soy products, trans fats, alcohol, and ultra processed foods. You should all be trying to stay away from these types of foods. And if you want to know why, you can click on each of the tabs and learn a bit more about how it decreases your testosterone. That's everything on the testosterone optimization diet. Let's get into some supplements. Okay, so there are basically 2 types of supplements you can take to boost your testosterone. The first type are supplements to address any micronutrient deficiencies in your body of vitamins or minerals that are essential for producing testosterone. The second type of supplement you can take are herbs and spices that have compounds in them that have been shown to boost testosterone, increase free testosterone, some decrease cortisol, which has been shown to decrease your testosterone. So there are basically 2 types of supplements. And I'm going to be going through both of them and kind of what you should be taking, why you should be taking it, if you should be taking it. Like if you're eating a perfect diet, like I previously mentioned, then there is no reason why you should be honestly needing to take any of these supplements. But based on the world we live in and kind of the way a whole food system set up, some people do genuinely have these micronutrient deficiencies or want to take these supplements to boost their testosterone. So let's get into it. The four most important vitamins and minerals you can take to boost your testosterone are magnesium, zinc, selenium, and vitamin D3. All vitamins, all minerals are important for overall health, but these 4 in particular are beneficial, incredibly beneficial for testosterone. Let's start with zinc. The optimal biomarker for your blood work should be between 14 to 17 U-moles per liter. Zinc has been shown to inhibit the aromatase enzyme, which converts testosterone into estrogen. It's been shown to support the activity of enzymes that help convert cholesterol into testosterone in the Leydig cells in the testicles. And it's been shown to stimulate the pituitary gland to release luteinizing hormone, which is what signals to the testicles to produce testosterone. Zinc you can get from red meat, oysters, and a few other meats. If for whatever reason you can't eat oysters or red meat, or you get your blood work analyzed and you see that your zinc is super low, the best form of zinc I would recommend taking is zinc picolinate from the brand Thorn. You should be taking anywhere from sort of 15 to 50 milligrams per day. And you should be getting your zinc levels retested every few months to make sure that you're not overdosing on zinc. It's also important to make sure that you maintain a 10-to-1 zinc to copper ratio. So if you're supplementing with zinc and not with copper, then this can throw the ratio off and this can cause all sorts of other problems. So if for whatever reason you need to take zinc, you should also be taking 1/10 as much copper. So say you're taking 30 milligrams of zinc, 3 milligrams of copper, to balance out that ratio. I have also seen that heavy metal toxicity, particularly high levels of mercury in the body, uses up zinc because zinc needs to act as an antioxidant to neutralize that mercury. If you have mercury levels that are too high in your body, then it's important to try and decrease those levels and your zinc will naturally increase. Moving on to vitamin D3, it is optimal to have levels of 120 to 150 nanomoles per liter. And vitamin D3 isn't actually a vitamin, it's a steroid. It's made from the sun. The UVB rays hit your body and it converts cholesterol into the inactive form of vitamin D. And that goes through a few processes in your liver and kidney to produce vitamin D3, the active form that your body uses. Vitamin D3 has also been shown to increase the enzymes produced, same enzymes as zinc, that increase testosterone synthesis in the Leydig cells. It's also been shown to enhance luteinizing hormone receptor sensitivity. So it makes your testicles more responsive to luteinizing hormone, which produces more testosterone. And it has also been shown to reduce SHBG, which is what binds up all of your testosterone, rendering it inactive. There are a few foods that you can eat that are high in vitamin D3. However, I would recommend getting it from the sun. Spending 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes in the sun in the morning around 10, 11 a.m. will get you more than enough vitamin D3 in your body and will help you maintain those optimal levels of about 120 to 150 nanomoles per liter. If you live in a really cold country or you have darker skin and you're not exposed to much sunlight, you have low vitamin D3 levels, then you should be supplementing around 4,000 IUs to maintain your current level of 120 to 150 nanomoles per liter. If your levels are chronically low, then I would suggest getting on 10,000 IUs of vitamin D3 every single day, getting your bloods looked at every few months to make sure that you're not overdosing and to see that you're actually slowly increasing and bringing your vitamin D3 levels up to optimal. Because vitamin D3 is a fat-soluble vitamin, it's also important that you're not just taking it on an empty stomach, you're eating it with fats. You're eating it with a meal high in fats so that your body can actually absorb and break down vitamin D3 and use it. Next, we have magnesium, and the optimal blood work biomarker should be between 1.8 to 1. Magnesium is essential for over 300 different enzyme reactions in our body, and a lot of these affect our testosterone and our ability to produce and utilize testosterone and free testosterone. Magnesium helps maintain optimal free testosterone levels by binding to SHBG and making it less active, increasing our free testosterone levels. It's been shown to support steroidogenic enzymes involved in testosterone synthesis within the Leydig cells, and it's also been shown to lower inflammatory cytokines, improve insulin sensitivity, and improve sleep quality, all of which indirectly affect testosterone production. The best way to get magnesium is honestly just from eating whole foods, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds. Pumpkin seeds in particular contain 535 milligrams per 100 grams. Obviously, that's a lot of pumpkin seeds. You've got almonds, spinach, dark chocolate, avocado. I personally take magnesium glycinate, and I would recommend you to do the same if your magnesium levels are low from your blood test, or if you struggle to fall asleep at night, or if you just want to make sure that you have extra magnesium in your body to facilitate all of these 300 different enzyme reactions. I personally take 400 milligrams a night, and it helps me improve my sleep, maintain optimal magnesium levels, and boost my testosterone. Overdosing or over-consuming zinc, vitamin D3, or magnesium will not boost your testosterone further and will actually lead to more health-related problems in the future. So it's important to make sure that you're getting your bloods regularly checked to make sure that you're not over or under, but you're in the optimal range. And lastly, selenium. Optimal blood work biomarkers show between 100 and 150 UG per liter. Selenium is a trace mineral critical for testosterone function, sperm production, and antioxidant defense. It's an antioxidant in our body, and so if we eat foods that are high in trans fats or seed oils, then they cause a lot of free radical damage in our body, and we need selenium to basically cancel that out. Selenium is also used to make glutathione, which is our body's master antioxidant, and that basically cancels out these free radicals. And if these free radicals aren't, taken care of, then it can lead to cellular damage. If you're having cellular damage in your testicles or anywhere in the pathway from your brain down to your testicles, then that's going to decrease the amount of testosterone you're producing. Selenium is actually super easy to get in your diet. All you need to do is just eat 2 Brazil nuts a day. You can also get selenium from lots of foods such as tuna, sardines, eggs, some meats. I have also included boron here, which is a trace mineral You can't get it measured in your blood work, and there's no recommended daily intake. But studies have shown that if you take 10 milligrams every single day, it can increase your free testosterone by 28%, decrease free estrogen levels by 39%, and increase DHT by 10%. So I've decided to include this. You can take it if you want. I've taken it before. I haven't noticed a massive effect. After the 7 days, studies also do show that your free testosterone levels sometimes balance out. For some people in the study, it did. Some people it didn't. So I did include boron here because it has been shown to boost testosterone, but in my opinion, it's not essential. Then we move on to a bunch of herbs that have been shown to boost testosterone. Probably one of the most commonly talked about ones is ashwagandha, and this actually reduces the amount of cortisol your body produces. And if we look at the testosterone synthesis pathway, you can see if our body's producing lots of cortisol, then it doesn't leave much nutrients, much cholesterol left to actually make testosterone. So by decreasing the amount of cortisol that our body produces, it means that we've got more resources to allocate towards building and creating testosterone. Ashwagandha is a great supplement to take. I would recommend cycling it. Again, there's more information on each of these supplements on the document down below. You've got ashwagandha, Fedosia agrestis, fenugreek, Panax ginseng, shilajit, tonkat ali, and D-aspartic acid and L-carnitine. Those are both amino acids, and we get plenty of them from eating meat. But there have been studies to suggest that if you take D-aspartic acid and L-carnitine in high therapeutic doses, it can have a positive effect on testosterone levels and free testosterone levels. That's basically everything when it comes to supplementing for testosterone and avoiding any micronutrient deficiencies that could decrease testosterone production. So make sure that you have plenty of zinc, magnesium, vitamin D3, and selenium in your diet. And if you want to get your blood work looked at, make sure these are all optimal. With that being said, let's get on to part 3, optimizing your sleep for testosterone. As previously mentioned, getting long, deep sleep is the best way to boost your testosterone because, well, you make your testosterone in your sleep. So if you're not sleeping for long enough, or if you're not getting high quality sleep, then guess what? Your body can't get in the right state to produce testosterone, to send the right signals from your brain down to your testicles, and altogether your testosterone levels suffer. Even if you're doing everything right, you're eating the right foods, you're fixing your micronutrient deficiencies, if your sleep isn't on point, then neither will your testosterone. So let's go through some strategies to make sure that you're getting high quality sleep every single night. Also, on the sleep database, you've got a bunch of information about optimizing your circadian rhythm, the different sleep stages, and the sleep stage that most of testosterone is produced from. You've got the effects alcohol has on sleep, caffeine, melatonin if you take it as a supplement. I'm not going to go through all of this now, but there's lots of information there for you to read and look at and see if it applies to your life. Also, big problem, using your phone before going to bed every night messes up your circadian rhythm massively. So make sure you implement strategies to decrease the amount of blue lights you're exposed to at night. You can either turn on night shift or you can put blue light blocking glasses on. I personally do both. Again, more information about that in this guide. I'm not going to go through absolutely everything. There's lots of information here. Go through it yourself and take your time. Read it thoroughly. I want to go through with you 2 things: optimizing your sleep environment and also optimizing your sleep routine. So when it comes to your environment, there are a few changes, necessary changes, I think every single person on the planet should make to make sure that they're getting the best night's sleep possible. First things first, get blackout curtains. Your bedroom should be pitch black at night. You shouldn't be able to see anything. If you have any like little lights that pop up, like a red light or a blue light, put tape over that or unplug it, or make sure that it just isn't in your bedroom anymore. I had a client who had the router under his bed, and the amount of EMFs he was exposed to from that was just ridiculous. Plus also there were a bunch of green lights that were shining onto the roof. So I made sure, I told him, bro, get that router the fuck out of your bedroom. Like, that's messing your sleep up so much. So make sure that your room is pitch black. Next thing, get natural bed sheets. Don't go to Kmart or some cheap shop and buy $30, $40 bed sheets. that are all synthetic and made of microplastics. You want to be getting cotton, bamboo, silk bed sheets, something that costs $200, $300, $400, something really high quality, because you spend a third of your life in bed. And so if you want to optimize your testosterone and get the best night's sleep possible, you should be investing in some super high quality bed sheets, because otherwise, bro, like, you're going to be exposing yourself to so many microplastics, which I'm going to be getting into in step 4, avoiding endocrine disrupting chemicals. But take my word for it, get some high quality bed sheets. You also want to get a high quality pillow. You know, you want to be getting a good night's sleep. Of course, get a high quality mattress as well, but I think that goes without saying. I think something else that goes without saying is make sure that it is dead quiet in your bedroom. I used to live in the middle of Surfers Paradise, which is like the Gold Coast party city. And every Friday and Saturday night, I could hear music from the nightclub below, and it was just keeping me up. I had to buy earplugs to block it out. So if you can, tell your roommate to be quiet, buy earplugs and use earplugs if you have to. Some people like to listen to white noise or gentle relaxation music before going to bed, whatever floats your boat. But make sure it's dead quiet, or if it can't be dead quiet, put on something relaxing to help you fall asleep. I would highly recommend getting a light alarm clock. So many people I know just use their phone and it goes at 5, 6, 7 in the morning, and waking up to that noise can be so jarring and terrible for your circadian biology. If you get a light alarm clock that actually turns on light 5 or 10 minutes before you're supposed to wake up, you wake up naturally, feeling refreshed, energized, and ready for your day. I got one of these like 2 years ago, and I've used it every single day since. And since using it, I've never actually woken up to my alarm before. I've always woken up to the light naturally. And of course, I still do have alarms on just in case, but I have woken up every single time to light and not to sound. And it has been a game changer for my circadian biology. And it's made me feel alert in the morning, every single morning. So light alarm clock is a necessity. If I had to put it on a scale of 1 to 10, getting a light alarm clock for your sleep is a 10 out of 10. I would also make sure that your bedroom is between 16 and 19 degrees Celsius. I like my bedroom nice and icy cold. Since moving to the Gold Coast, I haven't had the luxury of necessarily doing that, but I've had to use fans and portable coolers to decrease my room's temperature. So around that 16 to 19 degree range is optimal for optimal sleep and testosterone. Also, don't sleep with your phone next to you, under your pillow. Put it as far away as possible. Don't sleep with your laptop next to you. Sleep away from as many EMF emitting things. And that's what I was talking about with the router before. Don't sleep with your router in your bedroom. If you can, turn your router off at night, because in terms of an energetic level, that router is putting out so much radiation and your body's trying to rest and recover and restore. And if you have this router, it's actually interfering with your body's ability to do that. So if you can, get your phone out of your bedroom, get your laptop out of your bedroom, turn your router off, and this will help you get a much deeper restorative sleep. And if you have like a Whoop or a smartwatch, wear that, because it's good to track. And if you turn off your router tonight and sleep and track your sleep, you might see that you get high quality, deep and REM sleep. And if this is the case, then, well, it was the router. I know these all might seem like really small changes to make, but if you make all of them slowly over time, they add up and improve your sleep quality massively. Lastly, take some supplements before bed. Magnesium glycinate, magnesium threonate, 400 milligrams. Magnesium glycinate's really good. It's what I personally take. Magnesium threonate can cross the blood-brain barrier. So for some people who get really anxious before going to bed and their mind's racing and going a million miles per hour, if you take magnesium threonate, that can help with it. If you take glycine as well, 2, 3, sometimes 4 grams of glycine, that can actually help decrease your body's temperature and put you in a state ready for deeper sleep. Some chamomile tea is really good, and Epsom salt baths. So taking magnesium in the form of Epsom salts, I believe it's magnesium chloride or magnesium sulfate in the form of Epsom salts. If you take a bath, these are absorbed into your body and absorbed into your whole body, your feet, your legs, your arms, your body. It relaxes you. It helps with recovery. And every time I do it, I get the best, deepest night's sleep. So Epsom salt baths are super good for deep quality sleep. There are a few steps that you should take in the evening before going to bed that will massively help you get deep restorative sleep to optimize testosterone production. And that's stop drinking caffeine 8 hours before bed. Have your last meal 2.5 to 3 hours before bed. Because otherwise, if you have it right before you sleep, then your body is going to be working on trying to digest that food. And it's not actually going to be working on getting you asleep, keeping you asleep, and putting you in that deep restorative state. I would also try and avoid your phone, or if you're going to be on your phone, put your blue light blocking glasses on, turn on night shift mode an hour before bed. And also, if you can, take a hot shower, a hot bath with Epsom salts, or a sauna. That increases your external body temperature, which forces you internally to react to that by cooling you down. So if you have a really hot shower before bed or a hot sauna before bed, it causes your whole body internally to cool down to try and counteract the external change that you're being exposed to. I hope that makes sense. Some people before bed like to read, some like to journal, some like to meditate, some like to stretch. Do whatever you want, but don't be on your phone scrolling or watching Netflix, because that messes up your sleep so much. And then go to bed. Everyone goes to sleep. Everyone knows how to go to sleep. I don't want to tell you this exact routine to follow, and I don't want to tell you to count sheep, but just go to bed. And when you wake up in the morning, super important, don't drink caffeine straight away. Get up out of bed, because you have your light alarm clock. That'll wake you up naturally. Get out of bed, go look at the sunlight. In the Gold Coast, it gets light at 5 a.m. So I'm up at 5 a.m. The sun's up. I go get it in my eyes. I then drink a bunch of water. You can take electrolytes. I just sprinkle a little bit of sea salt into my water. I drink about 500 mils of that. And then I get on with what I need to do, whether it's work on my business, or sometimes I have to meal prep in the morning. Sometimes I go and exercise, whatever it is. Start your day after you've drunk your water. And I'm not going to be going through like a 16-step morning routine of meditating and cold plunging, because that's just honestly a waste of time for me. And for some people, if you want to do that, go for it. But the important thing is you're waking up, you're looking at sunlight, and you're drinking water, and you're refueling with electrolytes, and you're drinking coffee or caffeine about an hour after you've woken up. That's pretty much everything on sleep and how to optimize your sleep to maximize testosterone production. Let's get on to avoiding endocrine disrupting chemicals next. Okay, so the next change we need to make to our life is to cut out endocrine disrupting chemicals. To explain it briefly, endocrine disrupting chemicals, or EDCs, mimic estrogen and exert estrogenic effects on our body, which cause decreases in our testosterone. On this document here, the estrogenic avoidance database, I have over 50 changes you can make to your bathroom, bedroom, and kitchen that will increase your testosterone, because it'll decrease the amount of endocrine disrupting chemicals that you're exposed to on a daily basis. And once these endocrine disrupting chemicals enter your body, it's very hard to get them out. There are ways of getting them out, and I will be going through ways of getting them out shortly. But it's much more important to make sure that you're minimizing the amount that you're exposing yourself to. And if you can minimize that, then you can work on getting all of the excess EDCs out of your body, and then you'll just be healthier. Your hormones will be better. Your testosterone will be higher. Life will just be much better. So first of all, let's go through some of the most common endocrine disrupting chemicals. And you've probably heard of some of these before. You've probably not heard of some of these. So first of all, you've got bisphenols, BPA. There are so many products now that are like BPA free, but just because they're BPA free, they have BPAS or BPAF or BPS used instead of BPA. It's basically the same chemical. It's basically the same polymer. It's just one or two carbon chains different, or stoichiometry, the way that the carbon atoms and hydrogen atoms are connected together is like reversed or mirrored. But they're basically the same, and they still have the same estrogenic effects on your body. So even if you are getting a BPA-free water bottle or a BPA-free this, it more than likely still contains bisphenols in them, which exert estrogenic effects. So as a rule of thumb, you should be trying to avoid plastic as much as possible. And the biggest one that comes to mind is avoiding plastic water bottles. You're drinking 2, 3, sometimes more liters of water a day. And if you're putting it in a water bottle full of bisphenols and phthalates, which I'm about to get into, then you're just like putting so many microplastics and endocrine disrupting chemicals into your body. And that's fucking up your hormones so much. So big change, just get a metal or a glass water bottle. Some of the other, endocrine disrupting chemicals are phthalates, which are soft plastics. So if you use like cling wrap on your food, that contains phthalates. Those squishy water bottles, they also contain phthalates. And even like my friends have just left their coffee cup here, but even the inside lining of the coffee contains a very thin layer of phthalates. And when exposed to something hot, like coffee, it actually heats up the rate in which it's degraded, and it leaches even more microplastics and more phthalates into your coffee, which you then drink. And then it's your body, mainly your liver's job to deal with, neutralize, and then try and excrete. There are 3 excretion pathways your body uses: your stool, your sweat, and your urine. And I've made a couple videos in the past explaining all of that. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but towards the end of this section, I will briefly run through the ways in which you can get these endocrine disrupting chemicals out of your body. You've also got parabens, triclosans, which are just from a lot of cleaning products like soaps and detergents. You've got oxybenzone, which is used in sun cream. I would highly recommend getting a zinc oxide-based sunscreen, not an oxybenzone sunscreen, because guess what? Oxybenzone has been linked to all sorts of cancer. And it's kind of ironic that you're putting sun cream on your body to protect you from getting cancer from the sun. But in fact, the oxybenzone in the sun cream actually interacts with UVA and UVB radiation to cause free radicals on your skin. And because oxybenzone penetrates deep into your skin, it can cause free radical damage deep in your tissue and cause all sorts of skin cancers. Whereas zinc oxide sits on top of your skin, it doesn't go very deep, and it reflects the UVA, B radiation of your body. Personally, for me, I think you should wear sun cream, the zinc oxide sun cream, if you're going to be out at the beach all day. But if you're healthy and if you've worked on a solar tan quite like frequently every day, you've been exposing yourself slowly to more and more sun, you shouldn't be burning. And the people who do burn are usually the people who have a poor omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. They're not eating enough cholesterol. They're the types of people that burn. Yes, I still burn. I've burnt really bad once. I might put a picture on screen. But that's because I was being a retard. Moral of the story: don't put oxybenzone sun cream on your body. There's also polyester and a few other things that you can get from clothes. So this is a full cotton shirt. I'm not really being exposed to any microplastics. But if you wear gym shirts or activewear shirts or shorts or socks, that's full of microplastics. And yes, I wear microplastic shorts and shirts sometimes, but that's because I'm exercising and I'm more than happy to be absorbing some endocrine disrupting chemicals. It's just like, if you're having a day where you're sitting down and working and you have the choice of wearing a synthetic shirt or a cotton shirt, bro, just pick the cotton shirt. You've got a bunch of things that you are exposed to from food. So microplastics from water bottles and plastic wrapping, atrazine and glyphosate, which are sprays, herbicides, and all of that, pesticides that you spray on crops to keep bugs away, to keep them from going off. You've got soy, which is an endocrine disrupting chemical. Like if you have soy milk or soybeans or tofu, that's bad for your testosterone. Hormones that they put in dairy, artificial colors and flavors, fluoride, chlorine, bunch of heavy metals as well. You can check on the database all of them. You can click on each of the topics and learn a bit more about them and where they're found. But there are over 50 changes you can make to your lifestyle to increase your testosterone by cutting out endocrine disrupting chemicals. So we go through like the clothes you should be wearing, washing liquid, bed sheets, where you put your phone charger. Some stuff in here is to help you optimize sleep, which is what we've previously talked about, such as like getting a light alarm clock and blue light blocking glasses and stuff like that. But it's designed in a way where once you make this change, you can tick it off and boom, you've made that change to your lifestyle and you're increasing your testosterone by decreasing the endocrine disrupting chemicals you're being exposed to. Once we go down into the bathroom, shampoo, conditioner, soap, skincare, sun cream, deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrush, floss, shaver, shaving cream, all of that contains all sorts of chemicals if you get the normal brands. You have to get the natural organic brands because they actually don't contain any of these endocrine disrupting chemicals in them. They're made from, mostly natural, pure. They're a lot more expensive because they're handmade, or the ingredients in there are more expensive, but you get what you pay for. If you buy something cheap and you buy something expensive, I guarantee you the expensive thing is better or better for you. Same applies in every aspect of life. You can get a cheap house or you can get a really nice house. You can get a cheap phone or a really nice phone. The one you spend more money on is higher quality 99% of the time, unless you get fucking ripped off, then sucks to be you, I guess. And then there are a few changes you can make to your kitchen. So getting a water bottle that's either metal or glass, meal prep containers, glass meal prep containers, wooden chopping boards, wooden cooking utensils, a non-stick frying pan. So get like a stainless steel frying pan instead of a Teflon one, because those non-stick ones contain forever chemicals. And if you use that for 5-10 years, then you put so many forever chemicals in your body. And like the word forever means, those chemicals are stuck in your body forever. And they're all going to be forever decreasing your testosterone, causing liver problems, liver cancer, all sorts of health problems, right? Just get a stainless steel pan. They're more expensive. They're a bit harder to cook on if you don't know how to cook. But once you learn, they're pretty easy to use. And then I kind of just go into some foods that you should be avoiding. So as I mentioned previously, when we got onto the diet, you want to be getting like organic meat. So we've got a bit more information about that there. Organic meat, high quality fish, high quality cooking oils, the dirty dozen, clean 15, soy products, canned foods, because all canned foods and coffee cups contain that BPA lining around the seal to prevent your food from touching the paper cup, or to prevent the food from touching the metal can. Anyway, something like 55-ish changes that you can make, and then information on all of the, I think it's 23 most common EDCs that we're exposed to. So go through that, use that as your Bible, make a change one every week, 2 every week, and over time you'll be decreasing the amount of endocrine disrupting chemicals you're exposed to and increasing your total testosterone. I do also want to mention, let's just say you've applied all of this into your lifestyle and you've cut out all of these endocrine disrupting chemicals. What are the things you can do to make sure that your body is getting rid of these toxins? Because, what we breathe in, like petrol, the what's the word? The byproduct of burning petrol is, fumes that we're exposed to, and we breathe them in, and some toxins get stuck in our body. How do we get those toxins out? Right? Because you can't avoid toxins forever. Even like my plastic phone case, I can't avoid. The plastic on my watch, I can't avoid. Right? I'm not telling you to be like avoid plastic at all cost. Just avoid as much of it as you can within reason. And with the stuff you can't quite avoid, just work on detoxifying from it. So probably the best way to do that is to make sure that your liver is working optimally. Again, getting a liver blood test done to check all your biomarkers, make sure your liver's nice and healthy and you don't have any enzymes that are elevated or any problems with your liver. Also to check your kidneys and to take supplements to support increased nitric oxide production. So like beetroots or beetroot powder is really good for that, to allow your kidneys to filter through your blood and your urine quicker and more efficiently and more effectively. But like I mentioned previously, there are 3 ways in which we get rid of toxins: through our stool, through our urine, and through our sweat. So we'll start with through our stool. Basically, our liver deals with all of these toxins that have entered the bloodstream, and it breaks it down into a less dangerous substrate. and then our liver excretes these substrates from our gallbladder back into our digestive system, and then this binds onto whatever's in your digestive system and gets excreted out through stool. So for people, we'll get more into this later, but let's say you were doing a heavy metal cleanse, or you were doing just detoxing from all these endocrine disrupting chemicals. You would be doing things, taking certain supplements to make your liver work more effectively and to break down more of these toxins. And then you'd be taking something like charcoal or a binder to bind to all of these toxins in your gut and help flush them out. So you need to make sure that your gut and your digestive health is really optimized to make this work. Otherwise, you just end up reabsorbing all of these toxins that you're trying to flush out, and you end up feeling like shit, and you end up stopping doing the detox. But again, that's a different topic for another day, and it requires a bit of, I would say, experience. Like, I wouldn't say go do this detox or that detox. Like, you ideally want to be working with a qualified practitioner to ensure that you're actually doing it correctly and you're not causing more harm to yourself. The next way you can excrete these toxins is through urination. So again, just making sure that your kidneys are healthy and you're taking stuff to enhance your kidneys' ability to filter out these water-soluble toxins. And the last one is sweating it out. So obviously you can exercise, or my personal favorite, sauna for an hour a week. 3 20-minute sessions are kind of perfect for this, and it'll help flush all of the toxins out. So make sure you're optimizing your digestive health, you're optimizing your urination, like your kidneys. We'll say optimizing your liver and digestive system, your kidneys, and you're hopping in the sauna for an hour a week. That is pretty much everything there is on avoiding endocrine disrupting chemicals and getting them out. Lastly, I want to talk about the high testosterone lifestyle. Everything that we've covered so far, the testosterone optimization diet, testosterone boosting supplements, optimal sleep guides, and endocrine disrupting chemicals. There's a full database on each of them for you to look at and apply it to your own life. But with the testosterone lifestyle, there are 4 or 5 broad topics that we need to talk about. And I don't have, this video is not going to be 4 hours long, because I could go for 4 hours talking about each of these, but I've summarized it and I've given a lot more information in the database about each of these areas. So I believe 1, 2, 3, 5 areas that you need to improve. I'll go through them now, and then we'll go into a bit more detail on each one. Train hard in the gym for high testosterone. Manage chronically high cortisol levels by decreasing them. Optimize your dopamine, your focus, take risks and win. And lastly, talk to beautiful women. Yes, if you surround yourself with beautiful women more frequently, studies show it does boost your testosterone. Resistance training is one of the most powerful natural ways to boost testosterone. It increases luteinizing hormone and enhances androgen receptor activity in the muscles. So you have all this testosterone, but most of it's bound to SHBG until you have like 2% free testosterone. That 2% free testosterone binds to androgen receptors in your body. You know, if you want to grow facial hair, it'll bind to an androgen receptor, like in your jaw, shall we say. Or if you're in the gym and you want to build your biceps, the free testosterone will bind to an androgen receptor in your bicep, and it will exert an androgenic effect, and it might lead to like increased muscle protein synthesis. So if you're working out and you're increasing the amount of androgen receptors on your muscles, then guess what? More free testosterone can bind to those androgen receptors, and you can get a bigger effect of testosterone on your body without actually increasing the amount of testosterone your body is producing. So working out is the best way, in my opinion, to increase these androgen receptors. There's another way, I will get into that shortly, but to make it simple, you want to be doing heavy compound movements such as squats, deadlifts, bench press, rows, pull-ups, as much as you can. You want to be training hard, but not to complete failure every time. This messes up your central nervous system. And if you're an entrepreneur, or you're studying, or you need to be doing high quality focused work on your laptop, then training to failure every single day, every single workout, every single set isn't good. You're not a bodybuilder. If you're a bodybuilder, go for it. If you want to build as much muscle as possible, go for it. Train to failure for every set. But if you just want to look good, build a business, make money online, become, a well-rounded individual, don't take every single set to failure. Push close, but don't go to failure every single time. And lastly, I've also said sprint 1 time per week in here. My roommate doesn't train in the gym. He's a sprinter. He trains 3 times per week, runs very, very fast. His physique is as good, if not better than mine, and he doesn't even lift in the gym. Like, we went for a workout. I was stronger than him in basically every movement, but he looks just as good, if not better than me, because he's a sprinter, and it produces so much human growth hormone when you sprint, which has just a massive anabolic effect on your body. Allows you to build muscle easily without even working out, might I add. So go for a sprint once a week, beach sprints, go to a track, or just run in a park as fast as you can. But warm up properly, because you don't want to get injured sprinting. Next, you need to make sure that your cortisol levels aren't chronically elevated. On the testosterone, cholesterol, steroid pathway on screen, you can see that cortisol can be made from cholesterol as well. And so if your cortisol levels are chronically elevated, then the amount of testosterone you can make, because your body only has a certain amount of cholesterol. And if most of that cholesterol is being used to make cortisol based on the state that, your body is in, then you don't have much cholesterol left over to make testosterone. So we need to make sure that we're naturally decreasing these cortisol levels. And there's lots of ways in which you can do that. As previously mentioned in the testosterone boosting supplements, you can take ashwagandha, and this has been shown to decrease chronically high cortisol levels. But there are lots of other things you can do as well. It's super important to be spending time in the sun, optimizing your vitamin D3 levels, and also setting your circadian rhythm. Your cortisol levels should be high in the morning, because that's when you wake up, and that's when you need to be alert to get you up, awake, and moving. But then throughout the day, they shouldn't remain high. If your circadian rhythm isn't properly aligned and optimized, then guess what? Your cortisol probably isn't going to be either. And it might be high at different times during the day, which leads to chronically high cortisol levels. It's important to be spending time in nature to decrease your chronically high cortisol levels. This includes going for walks out in nature, hikes, detaching from your phone. Like, if you go for a walk, leave your phone at home. If you go for a hike, leave your phone at home, or don't touch it. Don't put music in and listen to music, right? You want to be present in nature. And when I talk about being present, you can meditate to decrease your chronically high cortisol levels. I live in the most beautiful place in Australia, the Gold Coast. I'm going to be moving literally into that apartment right there next week. I don't think you can see on screen. I'm going to be moving into that apartment beachside. So to de-stress, I might go for a swim. I might lay out on the beach. When I'm at the beach, I'm also going to be grounded. So I'm going to not have any socks or shoes on. I'm going to be connected to the earth. And this has been shown to decrease inflammation levels, decrease chronically high cortisol levels, and just make you feel calm, at peace, and connected with the earth. Next, it's important to gently move your body, whether this is going for a walk or doing some stretching or some yoga, whatever floats your boat. I stretch, I go for walks, I go down to the beach when I can. I really want to get into surfing, because surfing's awesome, and it's awesome on the Gold Coast. And lastly, spend time meditating. There's an app I use called Medito. You can download it for free, and you can start just doing 5-minute meditations. You can work your way up to 20 meditations, and it just makes you feel more present, more, in tune with your body. You focus on your breathing, and the whole idea of meditating is training your body to not think about anything, but to be present in the moment. Obviously, when you're, trying to work, let's say on your business, or you're playing a sport, you don't want to dwell on the past. You don't want to think about the future. You want to be present in the moment right now, because right now in the moment, that's when the work or the performance gets done. If you're playing soccer, like when players are in their flow state, they play their best. They don't play their best when they're thinking about, fuck, I should have scored that goal in that last opportunity. They don't play their best when they're thinking, oh, fuck, I can't, I'm not looking forward to talking to the press after this game. They play their best when they're present in the moment, in flow state. And meditation helps get you to that place much more often, much more frequently. Next, you need to optimize your dopamine levels. Testosterone fuels drive, but dopamine directs it. It does not matter how well optimized your testosterone is. If your dopamine levels are completely fried from watching porn, constantly scrolling on social media or playing Fortnite, then your motivation, discipline, and drive towards achieving hard things is completely gone. To get your dopamine levels back to normal, I would suggest doing a full 24, maybe even 48-hour dopamine detox at least once per month. If you want to know what a dopamine detox is, it's basically a period of time where you don't touch your phone, you don't touch your laptop, you don't listen to music, you don't do anything. All you do is be present, meditate, grab like a book and journal for the whole day. Go for walks, focus on your breathing. You don't listen to music, you don't watch TV, you eat boring, bland food. You don't really connect with anyone. Like when you just have a day to yourself, you feel like you're overburdened and your dopamine's all over the place and you're reaching for your phone to scroll every 5 minutes. Take a day. It's hard, don't get me wrong, it's fucking hard. Take a day, calm down, and do a dopamine detox and let your whole body reset. Because I guarantee you the following day, you won't even be thinking about social media, your phone or scrolling or Tinder or Snapchat or any of that shit. You'll be like, I fucking hated that feeling yesterday. I want to work on my laptop. I want to work on my business. Trust me, I've done a few of these, and every single time around like 14, 15 hours in, I'm like, oh, I wish I could just like work on my business now. Like I don't even want to, but don't do it. Just do absolutely nothing for the entire day. And then the following day, you'll wake up energized, refreshed, mentally clear. You'll be just super excited to start working on your business. In 2025, there are so many ways in which you can actually fuck up your dopamine levels. I've got them all written down here. Watching porn, playing video games, scrolling on Instagram, using Tinder, Snapchat, eating junk foods, listening to rap music, watching Netflix, smoking, vaping, recreational drugs. There's probably more. These are just the ones that came to mind. Instead, do the good things. Have sex, build a business, create content, eat healthy, exercise, listen to audiobooks, do things, that your family would be proud of you doing. Don't just sit there all day scrolling on your phone. I didn't know where to put this in the whole guide of boosting your testosterone, so I put it in dopamine, but you should be avoiding all of these substances at all cost. Alcohol, smoking weed, doing recreational drugs, and prescription medications, such as paracetamol. If you're a girl, the oral contraceptive pill, you want to be staying away from that because that messes up your hormones, stuff like that. Like anything from the chemist, you should be trying to avoid as much as possible. And lastly, I kind of just had a section here where I wanted to help you optimize your productivity. So 3 things, super simple things that you can do to boost your productivity are: don't go on your phone until 12 p.m. or afterwards. If you have a business or you're studying or you need to get deep work done in the day, wake up, don't touch your phone, put it on mute, airplane mode, don't interact with the outside world. Just purely try and focus on getting the work done. Then after 12 p.m, once you've done all the work, then you can, worry about what's happening in the world. Also, right before you jump into a work block, try taking L-theanine and caffeine together in a 2-to-1 ratio. So 200 milligrams of L-theanine, 100 milligrams of caffeine. And this will help you feel locked in, focused. It won't give you jitters or anxiety or any of the normal problems that people with like taking caffeine experience. The L-theanine helps balance out all the negative effects of caffeine. And lastly, listen to study music. You can do Brain FM, which you pay for. I pay for. It helps me study better. Or there's a YouTube channel I've included, and it will basically help you focus better. There's all sorts of soundtracks from lots of famous success movies like The Wolf of Wall Street, Social Network. You can put them on. They're awesome. They're awesome to listen to. I would highly encourage listening to them. Take risks and win. High testosterone is closely linked to increased risk-taking behavior, which is a biological trait that has been evolutionarily advantageous for survival, dominance, and reproduction. Higher testosterone levels are associated with increased confidence, assertiveness, and a greater willingness to take calculated risks, whether in business, competition, or major life decisions. So take as many risks as you can, because if you take 100 risks on, let's just say business, right? Creating a piece of content, that can be scary, right? Creating the first piece of content, I get that. It's scary, it's hard. It was difficult for me. It's difficult for you. I get it. But if you take that risk and make that video and survive, and it doesn't do well, but then you make another and then another, and then another. Eventually, over time, that risk to you won't be like a risk. And so you will have overcome that fear. But someone who's just starting on their content journey, they see that as a risk. And it's the same with like taking a loan for your business. If it's the first time you have a business and you're taking a loan for it, that's fucking risky. That's scary, you know, like if you fuck up, then you have to file bankruptcy and start all over again. Or perhaps they might even come to you and your personal assets. But if it's the 18th time that you've run a successful business and you take out a loan, because you've done that before and because you've got that history backing up that you're not going to fail, you feel confident. And for you, it's not a risk, but for other people, it is. So when I talk about risk-taking behavior, there are, well, a few things I would highly encourage you doing, especially when you're young, to set you up for life. Firstly, create an environment where risk-taking is encouraged and winning is normal. So for me, that was moving away from my hometown, from my family, from my friends, and building my whole life here on the Gold Coast. Take that risk, create your dream life, and create the environment that you want. And trust me, it's hard, it's difficult, but it's not. Now that I've done it, I wouldn't have a problem going to another country and starting again. It's been a great experience for me, and I feel more motivated and locked in than I've ever been. I mean, this is why I've spent a week creating this video, creating all the databases. To be honest, I've spent months creating it, but I've really had this thought for about a week, and I've been so locked in, so focused. I'm here, I'm filming it. Other things to do to change how often you win. Change how you think. Your thoughts lead to your feelings lead to your actions. Become slightly delusional with your thoughts and convince yourself you can make it work. Your thoughts lead to your feelings, which lead to actions. So the way you think is super important and powerful, because if you're not thinking the right thoughts, then that won't lead to the right actions that you need to take to achieve what you want. And when I mean be delusional, don't be crazy. Like, I don't want to walk on water, but I want to get to however 10K a month with my coaching business, 20K a month, 50K a month. Whatever seems a little bit far-fetched, but achievable, that's what you want to be delusional about. And you want to find yourself friends and the right environment that makes you think that that delusion is normal. Like if I surround myself with a bunch of bums who work a minimum wage job and I tell them, oh, in 6 months, I want to be making $50,000 from my coaching business. They're going to be like, yeah, right. No fucking chance. But if you surround yourself with the right boys, I'll put a few videos on screen. They're all backing you up. They're like, yeah, Callum, you can do it. They're feeding into this delusion, but it's not a delusion. It's just a reality that hasn't manifested in this world yet. So change the way you think, take more risks, be slightly delusional, and fucking win. You know, when these delusional ideas actually happen in the world, celebrate that. You know, go out, have a dinner, celebrate. And lastly, the final piece of advice I can give on this area is accept that everything good and bad in your life is your fault. Take ownership of your situation, take risks with your business, always bet on yourself, and most importantly, create an internal and external environment where success and winning are the only options. If something bad happens to you today, that's your fault. If you get in a car crash, that's your fault. Even if it wasn't your fault, still take it upon yourself that it's your fault. If you spend hours making a video and it gets 25 views, that's your fault. It's not the world's fault. Your video sucks. It can be better. But when things work out, when your video gets 100,000 views and you have people booking on your calendar and you make hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know, a normal person who doesn't know you would call that luck. But to you, no, you fucking earned that. And so that's what I mean when everything's your fault, good and bad. If you take that ownership and that accountability to your life, it's going to help you massively. This is kind of a very not woo-woo section, but it's a lot on mindset. I do want to delve deeper into this into the future. But the point of this topic about testosterone is take more risks. And when you take those risks, believe that they're not risks, they're normal, and win. Most importantly, win. There's studies that show that when you win, when your team wins in a sports game or your team that you're playing wins, it can spike your testosterone by as much as 30%. So compete, take risks, and win. And lastly, the final thing that you should be doing to boost your testosterone is spending more time around beautiful women. Being around beautiful women has been shown to cause a temporary increase in testosterone levels in men. This response is believed to be evolutionary, as your body interprets the presence of a potential mate as a signal to prepare for competition, dominance, and reproduction. Whatever you do, bro, don't pedestalize her. She's just a girl. Below is a complete guide I made on how to meet more girls, where to find them, how to talk to them, how to go on more dates with them, how to be more confident about girls. I'm not going to go through all the steps here. It's a really, really good guide. I would highly encourage you to check it out, read through it a few times, and start applying that to your life. Talk to more girls. But bro, just don't be shy. Don't be scared. She's just a girl. Talk to more girls. Surround yourself with more beautiful women, and your testosterone levels will increase from it. Congratulations. You know absolutely everything there is now on how to boost your testosterone from 500 or 400 or 300 nanograms per deciliter all the way up to 700, 800, 900 nanograms per deciliter. Just to recap, everything that you need to be doing to optimize your testosterone is eat the high testosterone diet, fix your nutritional deficiencies, optimize your sleep, cut out endocrine disrupting chemicals, lift heavy, avoid cortisol raising activities and lower your cortisol, fix your dopamine, take more risks, talk to more beautiful women. Those are the 9, but there's actually secretly a 10th one. That's probably one of, if not the most important steps you can take to optimize your testosterone. And I wanted to leave it to the end because the 10th step to optimize your testosterone is optimize you and your genetics. As you may or may not know, I help men optimize their health. And everything that I've just spoken about, I do with all my clients to help them optimize their testosterone. But the biggest factor that determines whether you actually increase your testosterone or not is by looking at your body specifically. So getting your blood work analyzed. All of my clients I work with, I analyze their blood work, get 68 different biomarkers looked at. It's my job to make sure that your whole blood biomarkers are optimized for health. We get everything looked at from sex hormones. So we get an initial, breakdown of your testosterone and sex hormones. Vitamins looked at, minerals, liver, kidney, thyroid, adrenal cortex, cortisol looked at. We get cholesterol, glucose, insulin, all looked at. And based on those results, you could be doing absolutely everything I talk about in this guide. But if your methylation is messed up or you're deficient in this vitamin or mineral, then that's going to cause a cascade of bottlenecking process that prevent you from producing optimal testosterone and prevent you from feeling normal. So it's so important to get your blood work looked at. I've also been looking into genetic methylation testing for a number of my clients. And it's super interesting stuff. For one client, I found out that he had a polymorphism or like a genetic mutation that basically meant his body struggled to produce choline. So now we've put him on choline, and that's helped decrease all of his liver biomarkers, and it's helped increase his methylation. And that's helped change his testosterone levels and the way he feels every day drastically. So I'll leave a link below if you want to book a call. If you want me to do everything that I've just mentioned for you so that you don't have to think about it, go for it. Book a call one-on-one with me, see if we're a good fit, and I would love to help you optimize your testosterone. I hope you found this video valuable. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Have a good day. Take care.